right, time for this here illuminated blade sign for Maleza, something like that. So still cranking on the big sign there, but you know, when you're in the middle of a huge project, why not do a little amuse bouche, a little appetizer here. So I figured I'd just knock this out real quick, get it into production, and then, you know, in all the spare time you have, you guys can kind of knock it out whenever you see fit. But it's not too bad. But yeah, it's like a little ginger when you're having sushi. It's a little refresher for me. So I figured I would just knock it out real quick. So let's get into it. Let's get after it. So we'll have it's pretty much all O9 parts here. So you got your O9 stuff. You'll have all your internals. You'll have your externals. You get your big jigs, and look out for the switch plate, little custom switch plate. And then you'll have these 4 splice pads. I did the skin in 050. That way it's just easier to bend. I was kind of going back and forth on what would be stronger or whatever, but I think this will be okay. It's pretty simple though. You got a couple of mount plates and you have a couple of bushings. Look for those. You got your 063 white, and we got little decorative covers like we do for install to cover up the hardware. And then you have yourself some 3/16 white. So, man, we got a pattern. While we're here, let's talk about the faces. It looks like these are going to get fully, you know, vinyl or whatnot, but the trim cap is getting painted. So this isn't going to be a face where you can wait till the very end and then just trim cap it. So I would get these to get digital to hurry up on this first, and then that way you can trim cap it and get it back to paint and get it through production fast. So, you know, quicker than that. So just a heads up on that. But otherwise, I think this should go, knocking on wood here, it should go pretty quick for you guys. So you just bend everything up, and you're going to start by making basically an Oreo cookie or a Vienna ladyfinger here, where you're going to take the front, and I say front because it's like the side that faces this way right here where the legs are to the left. You're going to take the front, and then you're going to take the back, face up like this while it routes. And then you're just going to sandwich all of these pieces first, and you're just going to rivet it together. Now follow along here. You can see which side the actual C channel, you know, the webbing goes on that side, so they kind of face into each other. And then you have A, so you'll see A is scribed here, and you'll have B runner there. And then so you're just going to start out in the internal part with all of these guys, and you're just going to rivet it all together. Now make sure that, I don't know about any sort of surveys or anything that happened, but I believe the idea is that primary does have to come through the legs. And so what's going to happen is we're going to stuff a keystone into the center area here. So you can see where the little keystone is going to live right there, Bob Ross style. And then the switch will fit inside there too. So if you look at this side view, you can see there's room for the switch, and the keystone will live right there. So we have to get power through the stick, through the body of the thing. So you'll see where I have P. P is for power, and each of those have a pretty good slot in them. So you can see where essentially we need to get power from either leg up through those little slots and then through the main hole here, and that gets us into the power pocket. So make sure that the P lands everywhere there's a P here. And then make sure that these guys here, where the legs go through, make sure they face the right way. They're going to be facing down, you know, flanges up and then flanges down. So that way you're going to be welding. Once you get done, you're going to slide that stick in like we do, and it's going to weld to those C channels. So you have the C channel there, and you got the C channel there. So first step, get these all bent, and then rivet these up really well. The other note is that where these notches are, I have a larger hole right there. Do not rivet there. So you'll see I have do not rivet on those notches. Essentially, there's 8 per side. Those holes are saved for the whites. So that'll be the mounting. So you see there, you got 4 up top, 4 on the bottom on both sides. So even though that's a 165, or technically it's a 17 for rivets, it would be confusing. You wouldn't know the difference there just looking at that. So keep an eye out for that notch, and the hole will be bigger. So skip that. No rivet there. So once you get these all riveted in and you get the powers where they're supposed to be, then what you're going to do at that point is go ahead and wrap the outside like we do. So these guys are basically 1.25 inches, And then this is over 1.5 inches. So this gives us our kind of thicker body. So you have your top, and then make sure you line up T, and then the A side over here. This is the leg side, the A. So make sure where that hole is there, do your top there, and it ends right there. I gave you a little bend tab here just to weld against, and then I gave you the opposite number on this side. So you have B. B is for bottom, but I know I named this after, so it's a little confusing. But B for this is bottom, T for this is top. So you got your top there. And then, like I say, make sure you keep the leg side. Basically, the power side is the leg side. So that's just something to keep in mind there. So make sure that that hole is on the side with the P is the power side. So go ahead and tack it up like we do. Get the gun in there where you can, like a blade sign, sort of like we do. Just go ahead and work all the way around, get your gun in there. You can also tack, you know, I gave you plenty to tack on the surface if you want. So then that will create this sandwich. So go ahead and complete that whole thing. Rivet this to this, wrap this around there, and now you're good. Then it comes time for returns. Again, I kind of went back and forth on this. I went ahead and went with the 05 just to save weight, and it's easier for you guys to bend. So what you're going to do is go ahead and get it to this shape. Once you go to put this on, so you're just going to wrap it around. I would prefer if you could get it to sit like this on your table. You know how we do is like get it close to 90%, more than that, and then it'll sit nice. You don't have to fight it so much. If it'll sit nice, then it would be best to just Lords it, because you're going to have an 1.5 inch strip right there. You can just goop up really well. And then just go ahead, and I gave you the cleco holes that match up all the way along. And it's easy to go. I didn't put any reference kisses, because when you have those reference kisses on 05, sometimes they show up when you bend. You can see it, you know. So I tried to keep the references off the curves. So really the cleco hole is all you have. But like this cleco hole here is 1 inch away from where the bend starts. So you can see where the bend starts here at that node. That cleco is 1 inch down. So if you just kind of make a mark 1 inch up from the center of this cleco hole, that's the beginning of your curve. And if you go back to this one and go back up 1 inch, that will be the beginning of your curve. And that will give you what to lay out and just kind of work on that. But if you can get it like this and where they're kind of relaxed, then I would Lords these. And then, because again, we're dealing with 05 and we're dealing on something that's 9 inches wide, this can get really warpy if you put too much heat into it. So I was kind of going back and forth what kind of seam to do there, but I figured we would just go ahead and use these 09 plates and do a cold seam with the Lords. So just splooge it up really good, squish it up really good, and then that'll keep that nice, and it should keep it flat. So if you can get away with Lordsing this whole thing, it'll be really clean, very little heat. But I did make a contingency plan. If you think it's quicker or it's not behaving, you can go ahead and tack on the inside on both sides here and just work your way around if you want to tack it to this. But of course it'll bubble a little bit, might get a little angry or whatever. But I did clearance these to clearance those welds if you do weld it. So either way, not the end of the world, but it would be probably easier and cleaner and quicker and just look better if it was Lords. So good luck with that. So that's the whole idea though. Start with this, get it all together, make a sandwich, get it taken care of, and then go ahead and secure and get this completely done. And then now you're done with that part. And then you're ready to finish it. So the other side of it would be the cut list. So we're going to get the legs going. So your cut list for the legs is you got two 22s right here, 1 by 1. Did it at 22 to make it easy. And then you're just going to go right down the middle at 11, center it up, and you're just going to make a big old hole. Now, the idea behind this hole doesn't have to be perfect, but bigger is better, because you're basically matching kind of like that hole. So it doesn't have to be that hole exactly, but the whole point is you're going to be bringing or install, not sure about that, who's going to be bringing in a black, a white, and a green. So make it as easy as possible and just go ahead and gouge out a really good hole in the center, as big as you can, make it clean for wires, and it only needs to be on one side. Do it to both. So 2 22s and then 2 8s, 2.5 diameter round tube. And then this is the steps, really simple. Take your plate, 1/4 inch plate. I got a little island fill right there, and then go ahead and burn the stick, good to go. And then number 2, take that bushing, put it, 1/2 inch, whatever, back a little bit so you can put a tack in there. Tack that bushing into your number 8, and then just slide that boy down, or girl, or they, just slide it down, and then go ahead and burn it really well all the way around, because you're not going to see that weld either, because you have the 1-inch acrylic caps that's going to cover all that up. So you're not going to see the welds actually. So it's just that simple. Go ahead and just make sure it's all square, make sure it looks good. And then you're just going to skewer them in. And I gave you 0.02 on in between there, boom, boom. And then you'll see where like this right here will be your C channels. That's what I'm saying. You got to make sure you rivet those in the proper way. That way you have this little, and then you can go ahead and do a nice fillet weld. So you can see where there's your 1x. So you can do a nice little fillet weld. We've done this before. And then you just go ahead and tack that 1x all the way along to those angles, just like that. And, you know, once that's in, so go slide it in, and you can either work, maybe put these on your table and, you know, mount these feet onto your table and slide this down, or throw a clamp on across and clamp it in, but make sure it's all square, make sure it looks sexy, and then tack it in there. You're good to go. And then really that's about it. So, and, again, as far as the power is concerned, you got yourself your little keystone. I do have, you'll be able to take those little blunt, the self-tapping screws we use for the switch plates, the little hex ones. And you can leave it sticking out the back as long as it's not sharp or anything. And, you know, they'll poke out the back. And then the white actually has clearance holes for those screws. So when you go to put the back side, and then this side will be clearanced out for the switch. And then these will create the enclosure face for the wires. So I think that'll work for hiding the power and all that, and keep everyone happy. Just make sure that when you slide these sticks in, that the holes face the proper way so you can get the power out. So those big holes you make sure the top one is facing down and matches up with this hole here. And then make sure when you slide this stick in, that hole is matching up with that hole there. That way you can, you know, and again, talk to install. Maybe I think it would be easier if you guys snaked the wire out and maybe gave them like a 4-foot leash or something here, roll it up for them. It's just that they, you know, picking which one is which for power, but maybe talk to install, see what's up with that. And that might help them out, because it might be kind of tough to snake that in the field. So anyway, but I think that's it. We got a pattern, and again, just get these 2 graphics and back fast as you can, because you got to get them painted for trim cap and stuff. So other than that, so yeah, just knock it out real quick whenever you get time. But other than that, good luck. We're all counting on you. Check.